Hey, what's up? This is your host, AJ Jones. Welcome to the Chocolate Life Podcast. Um, today, this podcast has really been on my for probably a couple of weeks. Now, this podcast is mainly focusing on Black love, Black relationships, and things like that. So, the reason why I'm speaking on this is I'm in a successful relationship. Me and the young lady that I'm dating right now have had some very, very good and also some very um, tough conversations. She's asked a lot of good, tough questions, even leading up to us getting together. So it's not even in response to what we've talked about, but it kind of goes along with we both shared our opinions about the dating pool and what it looks like. And this particular video, I saw it on this tonight's discussions shorts on YouTube. And so this young lady was, she was basically in a back and forth with a guy, and the guy was basically saying, men don't want to hear a woman say, I don't need you. And then she comes in and says, well, what's wrong with me saying, you know what? I really don't need you in my life to function. And then she goes, but I want you, but I desire you, but I love you. And that right there hit me in a way that it was very, very, very uncomfortable. Not because she said it, but I don't even think she understand the logic in what she was saying with that. And the crazy part about her saying that is that in this dating pool thing that is happening right now, you have a lot of women that are telling men to their face, I don't need a man. I don't need you. But yet, even on that particular platform, you have a woman that's on a panel saying the exact same things. And then you have things like guys choosing to be incels, guys going the passport bro route, and guys just literally making the choice to not date, period. And I'm going to be very, very honest with you, and I'm going to be very, very transparent. Prior to meeting my current girlfriend, I was this close to just saying F dating. Like, I was just going to just chill by myself. Now, let me give you some context to even doing that. I have before, but now I was in a relationship before my new relationship. And before that particular relationship, I was single for right at 7 years. So, like, I would talk, I would talk with young ladies, and then when things didn't line up, or things didn't, or let's just say things was putting me in uncomfortable situations that I didn't want to be in, I would distance myself from the young lady and just, just stay in myself. But to get back to the young lady's comment, so that logic, you can't, you can't consciously in full, you can't consciously be aware and be in the dating pool pursuing men with the mentality of I don't need you, but I want you, I love you, and I desire you. Now, when I first heard, now I actually had to watch the video 3 or 4 times because I was like, okay, why is she saying this? And then to even hear the guy at the end of the video pretty much check that mentality. He was like, first of all, that's not how that is. And so basically, what it was, she had this preconceived notion in her mind. Some dude she went after her, hurt her, and in that guy hurting her, she pretty much made up in her mind, okay, that's how dudes are. Point blank, period. Can't change my mind. And so, even with her telling her exactly what she was saying without saying it, because she was spitting a lot of words out. Yeah, she was spitting a lot of words out. And so, even in that word salad, like, I'm just, I'm just like, I just can't. It was just some, I just, like, it just didn't make sense. So she said, she's like, what's wrong with me saying, you know what? I don't really need you, but I want you, desire you, and I'll love you. Then in my mind, here's what I heard. You, in my mind, here's what I heard. Okay. First of all, she starts off with, I don't need you, but I have needs that need to be met. And that is when I want you. And I desire you to be by me to take care of that need. And if you do that for me, I will love you. And that, to say that, it sounds very, very, very transactional. Now, it's when I say transactional, I mean transactional in a negative sense. Like, it's almost like, I don't need you, comma, but. And that's what it sounded like. And so when that guy SD broke it down at the end, I was like, I was like, any lady that has that logic, has that mentality, on that particular subject, like, she needs to get her butt out of the dating pool and just freaking heal and go to counseling, get on somebody's couch and get that healing done, because all that's doing is hurting people. Now, there are now. I'm now. It's not going. Now I'm going to be 50% down the middle. I'm going to keep it even. There are dudes that have been hurt, and once they're hurt, like, they don't trust females, because one thing as men, when we're hurt, we don't like to feel the same pain twice. That's just how we're wired. We are going to put ourselves in position to where there is little to no hurt. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we do not like to feel the same pain twice. And the crazy part about that, whether that pain has been self-inflicted by us making a mistake, or if that pain is dealt out from somebody else, we don't want to feel the same pain twice. And then if we feel that pain twice, what we're going to do, we're going to learn from it, but at the same time, we're going to look for another way to get away from feeling that pain ever again. But ladies have way more venues or platforms for expression when they are dealing with all these different said feelings. They just do. And so, like, I mean, just the very logic, but just to even to even come up with that concept and to spit that out like that over the airwaves, like that's, I think that's very, very dangerous. And I think it's very, very dangerous on one hand. At the same time, let me see, what's another word outside of dangerous? Um, I think it's dangerous and misleading because one, you're pretty much telling. Now, here's the crazy part about this. I've looked stuff up and I've watched different other podcasts and looked statistics up and everything. Okay, if you stick 100 females in a room with 100 guys, the 20 most attractive females are going to go after the top 20 most attractive guys in that room. All right. Then from that 80 and then so once those 20 are once those 10 couples are eliminated from the room, it's 80 to 80. And one thing females don't understand about this whole numbers thing, like women in general only see the top 20% of men at any given time when they walk into a room. If you are attracted, put it this way, what females view as attractive, they see it when they walk into a room. Now, the crazy part about it, they're not going to necessarily tell you they view you as attractive. But if you're attractive, they're going to let you know. I mean, no, let me rephrase that. In their mind, they're put it this way, in their mind, they're going to have it, that check mark marked in their head. Like when they see guys, they have check marks and they're going to mark it in their head. Like when they walk into a room. Now, here's the thing. Females are very, very quick to say guys have more access. No, we don't. Women have access to dating. Put it this way, and here's the reason why I say women have access to date, have way more access to dating than we do. Only, put it this way, and I'm just going, and here's the reason why I have to throw this in. Now, me personally, I don't sleep around like that, but I have to throw the sexual statistics in to make this go full circle so it's understood. Okay, so when it comes to men ages 18 to 30, only 30% of men are having sex. 30%. That's it. At the most, 33%. At the most, 33%. And then there's another 30% of men that are 18 to 30 that are virgins. Now, I don't know what the statistics are that the women are going by saying men are doing this, men are doing that, doing this, men are doing that. Like, I'm with people, I'm in contact with people that have access to these statistics, and I have other statistics to back up what I'm saying. So, in this dating pool, there's so many different factors that play in the woman's favor. And plus, here's the thing. When I say females grant the access to a relationship, if a guy pursues you and is interested in you, A woman at the end of the day decides whether that relationship is going to happen or not. And here's the other thing. Let's just judge by let's talk about the DMs or communication on social media, the direct message. If a woman sends out 100 DM messages, if a woman sends out 100 DM messages, she is probably going to get an 80 to 80. She's on the low end. She's gonna get a 60 to 85% response rate if she sends out 100 DM messages. If a guy sends out 100 DM messages to a female, that guy will on the low end, that guy is going to have about a 20 to 30% response rate. So a woman is probably going to have probably 2/3 more responses than a guy on average. And like I said, there's so many things that weighs in the females, especially in the Black community. There's so many things that play towards the female's favor that they have the upper hand. Well, not let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. Let's retract that. I'm gonna say in principle, by the numbers, they have a lot of things going in their favor. Like females turn down more guys than guys actually even get responses. A guy would have for every one response that a guy gets, a female will turn down 3 guys for her to get the response that she actually wants. All right. So females are going around saying, I don't need you, but I want you, I desire you, and I love you. And I'm just looking at this from a face value, like looking at her exact words from face value. Okay, if you don't want a guy, if you don't need a guy, why are you loving, desiring, and wanting that guy if you don't need him? That makes no sense. You can't in one breath say, I don't need you, but then double back and say, I do want you, I do desire you, and I do love you. That is very, very, because another thing that females don't realize is that females hear things one way and guys understand things another way. See, guys are very, very logical. Not necessarily emotional per se in response, but guys are emotional in response depending on subject matter. It really depends on the subject matter. Now, females are emotional in response on across many different areas of life in general because that's how they're made. And what they don't understand is that when it comes to relationship, matters of the heart, man-woman communication, women still are not understanding that we communicate differently than you. Ladies, we communicate way differently than you do. You cannot, in your emotions, and be angry and say, I don't need you, and then turn around and say, but I love you, I want you, and I desire you. That's very, very, very contradicting and very, very, very confusing. And so one thing that you don't want in your life is a guy that is confused because of how you are talking to him. If you're doubling back on things like that, that's going to be a huge problem. That's going to be a huge problem. You cannot be doubling back on said things, period. It's, like I said, it's confusing and it's conflicting. And then after you say those, okay, let's just say a couple of days go by and then you want to talk to him about that. When y'all finally talk, how he responds to you is totally going to be your fault. And you have to honestly give him a pass on what he says or how he reacts. Because number one, if he's angry that he feels that you no longer want him, but yet you want to have a conversation as if it didn't happen, if he goes off on you, you pretty much asked for that. Now, if this dude gives you the cold shoulder and don't want to even, if he don't even want to be in the same room with you, it's a wrap. You pretty much killed whatever insurance you had left as far as a relationship is concerned, because you told a man that he is not needed. Now, I don't know if these ladies with fathers have explained this. Men want to be needed. Because why are men needed? Men want to be providers. Men want to be protectors. Men want to be lovers. Duh. And when he has a woman in his life that he's doing all of the above to, and then she tells him, I don't need you, you've pretty much just cut him deep and you pretty much cut him deep. And you can fix it, but you have to do a lot of work to get that done, because that's a bridge you're gonna have to cross. And you breaking up with him in the heat of an argument, just because you breaking up with him in the heat of an argument is not the answer. Now, I have ended a relationship in the heat of an argument before, and look back years later, damn, I actually could have fixed that. You know, you live and you learn. Now, a difference between a guy doing that and a difference between a female doing that, there is an emotional component that is going to come back later. Like, I'm gonna share a piece of my life. I was actually told by a young lady that she didn't love me anymore. Like, to be told that is the equivalent of saying, I no longer need you. Like, that stabs deep. And here's the kicker. Anything that young lady said after that, it was almost like, I'm that nigga stat. I'm that nigga. Like, I'm just that dude. I'm just that nigga now. I'm just that dude now. Like, I could probably be your friend, and that's it. Now, me and that young lady, we talked it out, but I also had to give that young lady some space, because she set some boundaries and I'm respecting the boundaries. and I chose to respect those boundaries. Now, the thing that I learned in that moment was that the thing I learned in that moment was that ladies say a lot of things in their emotion, and they're just very, very quick to get them out. And even if they think about what they said before they said it, they also didn't there's a lot of stuff they didn't factor in. And like you can have, it's almost like everything that they really looked at was in that moment and it wasn't in totality. See, when you look at everything in totality and then make a decision, all right, cool. But if you're just looking at this right here in this particular moment and you barely touch on the totality of the whole thing, like you're pretty much ending the relationship literally in the moment. And as a guy, I can honestly tell you I've done that and I look back at it and like, yo, like I'm talking years later, I'm like, yo, I could have fixed that. And then even went the extra mile and addressed the person that I broke up with and told them, yo, I messed up. Like we could have handled that. A lot of ill will. Like, you know, I reached out to the other person. I really did. And so like after, and after that, you know what I'm saying? If they chose to hear you, if they chose to accept it, you know, if they chose to hear you and accepted it, that's good. Now, if they chose not to hear you and it fell on deaf ears, you did your part. And you did your part. You know what I'm saying? And you addressed it. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying people just gotta be better. Ladies, ladies, y'all just gotta be better. Now, the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because I'm a direct communicator. Like if something's on my mind, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to bring it up, and then I'm gonna shoot straight. Like there's no beating around the bush. But like to say, like for instance, to complain about the dating pool and then turn around and say, I don't need you and I want you because I don't love you and stuff. Like it's very, very contradicting, conflicting, and confusing. The three C's that should never be together in the same sentence. Ladies, stop buying the street logic sisterhood BS because it is driving a rift in between us. Period. Like, stop it. Please stop. That's all I got for right now. Like, because that video has been in my mind for about almost 3 weeks now. Like, I couldn't even, here's the killing part. I couldn't even picture myself. Here's another thing. If a guy told a female, if let's just say the roles were reversed. Let's just say the dude on that panel was saying that. First of all, women were like, you so toxic. Who hurt you? If a dude said that. See, that's another double standard that is happening right now. Women can champion each other to say stuff about men and and in a way say and use these things to leverage themselves in the dating pool and justify different things that's happening in the dating pool. But if a guy was to say those same things, that guy would be a villain in the dating pool, and he would be overlooked and on the outside in the dating pool. And those are some of the things that's happening right now. Yeah, that's what's happening right now. So, yeah, ladies, y'all gotta understand how men communicate, and you gotta really watch what you say. That's it for now, and